Good morning, y'all. I ain't even in here watching that dog on TV. This is what kids do. Okay. Like I said, good morning. And I'm going to try to see if I can prop y'all right there. Okay. So, I bought some new conditioner. I have another one somewhere. It might be in my truck. But, I bought 2 to try out. So, I'm just going to find me a shirt. Get myself together here. Yeah. Yeah, I have damaged my locks. Everybody be complimenting me on my bleach. And when I did my retwist not too long ago, some of them are detaching. Like, I have a half of a lock right here because I pulled it apart. So it's, where is it? It's somewhere over here. Where is it? I don't know. Oh yeah, but yeah, I combed one of my locks out. It's shrunk up a little bit, but here it is. This is the one I combed out. Look how long it is. Look how long my hair is out. This is crazy. And it's one from back here. So it's not on the, all the way on the edge, but it's back here. And it's this long. It's crazy. I wish I could find this doggone lock. Oh, here it is, I think. Yeah, it's right here. It was this. Oh, it could have been now. It ain't that long. That might be it. That might have been it. Because it ain't no other showing right there. But anyway. So I'm just going to use some Kara's Daughter. Black vanilla. Just spray. So, but yeah, like I was saying, like I had not done anything to my locks from November, the 1st of November, to I got my retwist in, I think, like February. And, like, when I say nothing, it was in the same style. I didn't even take it down to redo it. Like, it was just in the ponytail. I didn't take it down. I didn't do anything. And that was because, we had just found out about my son, well, what they diagnosed my son with. And, of course, I was pregnant. And it was just a lot going on. I don't want to say depressed. I don't want to claim any of that, but I was just in a funk. And I wasn't worried about self. Like, y'all know how consistent I was with my pregnancy and things going on, and all of my videos getting checked out, making sure this going on, worrying about that. But after they told us about that, they told us that, I just Like I'm not gonna say I wasn't worried about myself anymore, but I had something else to focus on. And it's time for another retwist. No, that's where my hair bulbs at. But anyway, yeah, so I just wasn't, I had something else I needed to focus on. And we were getting up every day for appointments, and I didn't focus on myself. So I had 3 November, December, January, 3 months of doing absolutely nothing to my bleached hair. And y'all, it dried out tremendously. My hair was shedding. I looked like the ends of it were just shedding. Not like a lot, but they were shedding. And when I combed this one out, it didn't come out as much as I thought it was gonna come out, but it did come out. Like, it would have been longer than this, but of course my ends broke off a lot. Broke off more, you know, a little bit. So, but as you can see, I put some moisturizer in it and it's curling all up. So, and this one I combed out, I like that. But anyway, so I think I'm probably gonna go ahead and tell you guys about the diagnosis, because and it took me so long. It's because I really haven't talked to anyone. I might have talked to like a few close people about, you know, what went down, but I really I still haven't come to terms with it because I can't believe it. Here is one of them right here. Here go 2 of them, y'all. Like, so these 2 right here, they're stretched right here. So like if I was to pull this, it would tear apart. And right here, I had like 4 or 5 of these, and one of them there go another one. One of them I folded up and interlocked it. I don't know where that one is. But anyway, yes, I really haven't just come to terms with it, and I don't let certain words about the situation come out of my mouth in a certain way. So sometimes it's hard for me to just really tell the story as it goes, as it went, but I'm gonna do the best that I can. So I'm just gonna do like an overall gist of what happened, what's been going on, and yeah, pretty much about how we found out about what they say. So let me go. Let me see if she's sleeping. She is, but anyway, so we were going about our normal lives. Last year in September, we went to a family member's birthday party, and it was inside of a building, but the kids were outside playing, and one of my little cousins brought Samaj to me and said he fell, which is nothing out of the ordinary. He said he was running, he tripped on the concrete, and he fell and hit his face. So I saw where he hit it at, and it was just like a little scuff mark. It wasn't nothing like bleeding, peeling, scabbed, or anything like that. But he looked like he was kind of dazed, like he was sleepy, like he almost knocked himself out. So I sat him on my lap and I asked him, was he sleeping? He said no. I asked him, was he okay? He said yes, but he was crying like he never cried before. Like, it wasn't loud, but it was a soft cry, like he had never cried like that. Like, normally he would either not cry or he would like just cry, like normal cry. And so he was crying like he was kind of out of breath. Like I said, dazed and things like that. So I sat him in my lap, rocked him a little bit, and I'm thinking maybe he's just tired because he had been running all day long anyway. So eventually, he went ahead and got up and ran back outside, and he was fine. So a few days later, his eye started getting black. So I took him to the doctor, and I told him that he fell, but I wanted to know why his eye was just now turning colors days later. So they said, well, it could just be such, 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 whatever they said. And she was like, well, because I wanted them to do a CT at that point to check to make sure, you know, everything was okay. He didn't break anything in here. So, excuse me. So they, or x-ray or whatever. So they told me if it doesn't get better within a few days to bring him back. So I was like, okay. So it was about, now after that fall, the same night or the night after, it was right after that fall, he started sleep talking. And at first, like, I was a sleep talker and a sleepwalker, and I had it, I'm not gonna say pretty bad, but it was there, you know, and it's not abnormal for kids. But it was every single night. So at first I was like, okay, you know, just something he's going through. I did it. And then I noticed that after a few days or a week, I noticed it was consistently every single night. First it started out by a little whimpering. You couldn't understand what he was saying. And then after a week or so, he would have like full-on conversations, or he would say words and things like that, and you would know everything that he's saying. Like, he would talk clear as day. You would hear everything he was saying, and then it would happen at the same time every night. Every single night, it was around the same time. And then, and after I noticed this as well, I started putting him in the bed with us because he was sleeping between his room and then the living room on the couch. So I started putting him back in our bed so that I could watch him and monitor him and things. No, he was sleeping in his bed in the other living room. So he has this little toddler bed. He had put it in the other living room. That's where he was sleeping at. Because some nights I would go down there and watch him. And so, she passing gas. So then after that, it started turning into, he would walk every now and then. And he would get up to go to the bathroom, but he would think he was in the bathroom. He was not. He would just go find somewhere, stand there, and just start peeing. And so I caught him twice doing that. And then it turned into him doing all kind of movements in his sleep. So he would sling his arms, legs would go everywhere. He would just do all kind of moving and tossing and turning and just hitting, just like his arms would just do this out of nowhere. He would just do all of this. And so with him in the bed with us, I would have to sleep with my back turn towards him because I was still pregnant at the time. And so my husband, he would wake up when he noticed he started. He would have to hold him down in order to keep him from doing all of that and possibly hurting me. So he was not getting any sleep. I was barely getting any sleep. And it was just crazy because, you know, matter of fact, it started out with laughing. That's what it was, because I did a TikTok video. It started out with laughing, like he would laugh in his sleep. That's what it was. It wasn't the talking. It wasn't talking at first. It was the laughing. So it was laughing first. Then it started out with mumbling and laughing. And then he started making full words, like actual words. And then it started with the flaring of the arms and legs and things like that, and the walking. Which prior to this, he used to sit up at night at a certain time at night. And at the same time, he would just sit up, look around, and then lay back down and go to sleep. This wasn't every night. He didn't do that every night. It was just every so often, which I know that part was normal. But when it came to this, it was consistently he would not skip a night. It was consistently every single night since his first fall. Okay. So I eventually, after about 2 weeks, I eventually called his pediatrician and asked for a referral to a neurologist. And she said that we would need to be seen so she could do the referral. So we went down there to see her. And in the office, she told us normally they wouldn't do a referral for that type of thing because it's considered normal for children. She said, but with the way that I was saying that it was, she did want to do a referral. So anyway, I'm trying not to wake her up, but anyway. So now I can talk normal. So she said, so she agreed to do the referral. Now, while we were there, right after this, Samaj was playing. I'm not going to say playing. He was just being a kid. There are 2 chairs side by side, and he used the armrest to pick himself up. So you know how the kids pick themselves up with their arms, and he was swinging his feet. And I guess while he was trying to get down, or I don't know what happened, but next thing you know, he falls, but hits his head on the wall. And again, he did just like he did when he came to me from the first fall. He was like almost dazed, like he almost knocked himself out. And he was crying, like, you know, that whimpery cry, like he just was out of breath, like he almost couldn't breathe. And it was crazy. So the doctor looked at him. She checked his heart rate. She checked his breathing or something she did with a stethoscope. And she checked his eyes, and she sat there and looked at him for a minute. And then we left. So while we were leaving, he walked himself out. He ran to the truck. And when we got in the truck, I told him not to go to sleep because, you know, he just hit his head and it was really hard. And I didn't want him to go to sleep. So I kind of kept him up on the way home. And once we got home, I noticed when he was talking, he started like his S and his T's. It was like he was talking with a lisp. So I looked at him and like, what the heck is going on? Like, boy, did you really give yourself a concussion? And that's the first thing I thought about. Like, I really thought that he gave himself a concussion. So, you know, I'm just, you know, listening to him throughout the day. And then when his dad got home, he was, you know, running to the door to talk to his dad. And so when he was talking, Chris looked at him. He was like, well, what are you saying? Like, I don't understand what you're saying. And I was like, so you hear it too? Like, at that moment, I knew I wasn't crazy. So I was like, you hear it too? He was like, yeah. And it wasn't anything bad, y'all, but, like, we pay attention to, especially me, I pay attention to our kids and, like, how they talk, like, everything. And any little change, I can sense it. And so, he was like, I told him what happened. He was like, this boy done gave himself a concussion. And I was like, I think that's what it is. I'm not sure. And so, I was like, well, I'm going to watch him for a few days and we'll see, because even if I took him to the doctor, they're going to want to know how long it's happened. They're just going to tell us to watch him for a couple of days. If it get any worse, then bring him back. You know, I had done my research on everything, and my husband was a football player, so he knew things to look out for, and just not just a football player, he's an athlete and amongst other things, but he knew what to look for, and what they would say to do and all this kind of stuff. So we agreed to just watch him for a couple of days, and after that he was fine. Like, he started talking back normal and everything. So, and also being that I had already sent the referral, let me see. No, it was something else that happened. I think the sleepwalking and talking continued, and it started to get worse. And so, being that I had already got the referral to see a neurologist, I never did take him back to the pediatrician because I was waiting on them to call me because they told me they'll call you and make an appointment. And she said if they don't call within a week, then to call them back and let them know and go from there. So within that week's time frame, that's when everything was getting worse as far as the sleepwalking and talking and things like that. What I was telling you guys earlier. So eventually they never did. They still didn't call. I called them. I got nothing, nothing from that. And so the slurring of the words would come back every so often. And eventually it got to the point where it was like the slurring of the words, he would get something else he was doing. The laughing in his sleep and things like that. And he was just looking tired some days. Like he would just look really, really tired. And I chalked that up to not getting in adequate sleep because, like I said, he was up like from 12 to about 1 and then again around 4-ish, I think, for about a few hours at night, just up laughing, talking, moving, and things like that. So I chalked it up to, I said it could have been from that. I didn't say it was definitely from that, but I was saying it could have been from that because he wasn't getting sleep. So, again, I was waiting on the referral. But eventually, it got to the point where I'm like, okay, no, something isn't right. Or I just want to make sure, everything is okay. And he didn't mess anything up when he hit his head the second time. So I was like, okay. And even my mom and my dad, when he agreed to something, then it's like, it's very obvious. So, obvious for him, for Samaj. So they told us we need to go ahead and take him to the doctor. So we took him one night and we were telling the doctors about, and you know how sometimes you can kind of exaggerate things because you really, really need that. Because if you really just say something, they'll just say, oh, it's nothing. It's just send you home. So I was telling them, I was like, well, which was true. I was telling him he was slurring his words a little bit, which to them, they probably thought it was like a lie, like stroke type. But for us, it was just like, he was only talking with it like a lisp. It was his S and his T's, and that's pretty much it. And it wasn't every day. It was just every so often. Nothing. An average parent probably wouldn't even caught this. So it wasn't nothing like that. And I told them that he was falling a little bit. That he fell. And they were thinking that it was just him losing his balance and, him just falling all over the place. I'm like, no, it wasn't that. He's an active child. He would trip over stuff that they would leave on the floor. That, just simple stuff. I don't know. They were just, I don't know. I don't know if it was the way I was talking or what, but I was letting them know, like, I needed y'all to check it out. And so when the doctor that was in there with him, he was really just, like, he had an attitude, didn't want to be there, was rude. And even Samaj, when he walked out, Samaj was like, I don't like him. And I was like, you don't like him? I was like, me either. So the doctor went out, talked to the attendings and whatnot, and other doctors got a plan of what they wanted to do. And he came back. And when he came back, it was like his whole demeanor had changed. And he was like, well, you're suspicious. No, he came back and said that they were going to do a CT. They took him to do a CT, that he came back. And that's when the doctor, after they got all the results and everything, but that's when the doctor came back and his whole demeanor had changed. He was like, well, your suspicions were correct. Something is there. We're not sure. He started talking all these words, and he was like it was even some words that he didn't understand. He was like, something about the gray matter. There's something in there. So they was like, we're going to take him to do an MRI. And so they did that. And what did they do the next morning? They admitted us, nonetheless. They admitted us, hooked them up to IV, stuff, all that kind of stuff. And then it wasn't until the next, we stayed all the next day, and it wasn't until the next day that they came and told us the results, because my husband was at work, my mother-in-law was there with me, and when all of the doctors walked in the room, this is the research hospital and teaching hospital, something like Grace Sloan. So like one doctor come in, all the students come in, you know, they do that type of thing. And it really caught me off guard because I just switched back to this hospital, so I wasn't really used to that. But I knew this how they did it, but it just threw me for a whole nother loop. And so I saw the look on the doctor's face, and I just knew something was wrong. And but to make a long story short, they diagnosed him with a diffuse interesting what? Dipg. I'll put it across the screen. Pontine glioma. And he was saying that it's in the pons, inoperable, and it only gives a lifespan up to about 6 to 9 months. So yeah, he was like, when he said that, I just bust out, and I'm like, I can't, like, how am I gonna do this again? And I remember them saying, what does she mean, do this again? And my mother-in-law told them that we had already lost the little boy. And I just remember at that point just wanting to just tear everything up in the room. Like I was saying, somebody please hold me down. Somebody please, y'all gotta control me. Like please keep me calm. Please keep me calm. And I was just wanting to explode. Mind you, I'm pregnant at this time. This was November. I was 7 months pregnant. So I'm just in there like, please help me. And she came, one of the nurses, somebody was over there. I don't remember. I remember them standing beside me. I don't know what they were doing. I don't remember. And so the doctor was still kind of talking to my mother-in-law. And so I remember turning around and hugging her. When she reached for me, she hugged me. And I'm just like, now I got to call my mom. And that's what I was worried about. And then she said, she was like, don't worry about it. I'll call your mom. And she got my phone. Well, she got her phone and went in the bathroom and called my mom. And I think my mom came up there. I can't remember. No, because we couldn't have that many visitors. I forgot what it was. But she did come like the next day or something like that. But anyway, I was on the phone with my husband, and I think I just threw the phone. My AirPod or something came out. I remember him saying, Trey, what's wrong? What's happening? And I couldn't talk. Like I couldn't say anything. And so before I knew it, he hung up the phone, and he left work and he came back. And they talked about everything, and it was just like, how? Like, we came for a possible concussion, and y'all telling us this. And they were like, we're not smart. The doctor, I remember him saying that they're not smart enough to know anything about it. There's not much research that's been done on it because of the area that it's in. They can't operate to get it out to do research on it. I don't know. And they were like, it's something that just happens. It happens in a lot of people, but mostly kids. And it's one of the most deadly, and they have like 1% survival rate. But I don't know. So his course of action was, this was November the 14th. His course of action was to do radiation for 6 weeks, every day for 6 weeks, 5 days a week rather. And then he got into a trial. He's on a trial drug. And after that, he would do an MRI. And then he would, follow up with multiple MRIs to check to see how it goes. So as of now, it is April 2nd. And he has completed his 6 weeks. His 6 weeks was over the same on my due date, January 20th. So We were going to go to St. Jude, but being that I was in my last weeks of pregnancy, it would have been a lot. Well, my husband felt like it would have been a lot to do that. We were going to go travel to do different, get different opinions and just do all of that. But I guess he felt like if we would have left, we wouldn't have had a lot of family or a lot of help to do anything, although everything would have been covered and paid for. But it is what it is. But so we did everything here in our hometown, and so he completed his radiation. He did the trial. He was on steroid. The steroid blew him up, and I was so hurt for my baby because he was so big, and it was like I almost couldn't recognize him. He was so big, and it made him so tired. Like he didn't want to do anything. He wanted to do stuff, but he was just so, he couldn't keep up, and the radiation was making him tired. So most days he would come home and just sleep and lag around. But he was still fine. Like he got the flu. We got the flu right before his treatment started. They told us he could not get sick. He was to not get sick, so we needed to be careful of where he went, who he's around, things like that. He got the flu right before his treatment started. Luckily, he was fine to start it. He didn't have any symptoms or anything like that. But, and then once I got out of the hospital, I had her January 3rd. Once I got out of the hospital, I got COVID. And I quarantined my full 2 weeks, did everything, stayed away. No one came in and out the room except for Chris when he had to come by, get his clothes for work, blah, 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 this kind of stuff. And then the kids ended up with COVID, Samaj and Christiana. I don't know how, I don't know from where or what. And this was well after my 2 weeks. So they got it. He got COVID. I was worried about that. This was January, right after he finished his treatment, his radiation. And he didn't have any symptoms. He was fine. He just had a cough.
Can I play that tiger?
Yeah. But he was the sweetest kid when he was on radiation. They told us that it would affect him because radiation targets good and bad cells, and they said that he would pretty much regress, but he didn't. It was like his maturity level just skyrocketed. He was trying to take care of me. Mommy, do you need this? Mommy, do you need that? You need me to do this, Mom? He was just, it's like he turned into an old man. He just got, I don't know. It was unbelievable. And, he didn't cry. He didn't complain. He was just the best kid. What's wrong with you?
Won't give me that tiger.
We'll go find something else to play with. Okay. Man, girl. So, okay. Okay. So, yeah, so he completed his treatments. He did ring the bell. And now he got his first MRI. And it showed that the what they say is there. I mean, I obviously I see something there. I just don't let what they say come out of my mouth, like what it is. Because the first thing that she told me, the doctor, she said, it doesn't matter what we say. Ultimately, God has the last say so. And that really touched my heart when she said that, because it's true. But you don't really catch many medical professionals.
With the dog. Barbies.
Christiana! I'll be down there in a minute. Just leave her alone. So, you don't catch many medical professionals talking in that kind of manner, because, I mean, But she's right, you know. God has let us say so. And no matter what man says. So that's what I've just been holding on to. I don't claim what they claim. I just say they're wrong, they're mistaken, it's something else. But like I was saying, his first MRI showed that from, according to the first one, it has shrunken tremendously. Less than half the size that it was. It hasn't affected any other areas. He was given the possibility to go deaf, blind, from the treatments, and nothing has affected him in any way. Like I said, he's progressing in maturity. His thoughts and just everything. He's progressing and he is not regressing in any kind of way. Every time he goes to his appointments, he's done better than anything they've seen. Even me doing my research, he has nothing compared to. He has nothing that they have. It's just, this was not making any sense as to what they say is going on, because he hasn't had any symptoms of it. And so, he's off of his steroids, and I mean, he just went through everything with flying colors. It was just unbelievable. So, and it's hard to really just think about it. It was hard to do. I was having to get up. We were having to get up every morning, 6 o'clock, to go to radiation. He would get put to sleep for it every morning. And it was just crazy. Just think of a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old. He turned 4 at the end of the treatment. But 3-year-old having to go through something like that. It was just insane. So, we're now waiting. He's doing, like I said, the trial medicine. And we're waiting for his second MRI on April. They pushed it back. It was on the 13th. I think they pushed it back to the 20th. So we're waiting on that. And as of now, y'all, he's still active, run around. He lost all of his weight. So he's back running fast, playing, doing everything he was and some. So I wanted to sit down and do this video with my husband, but he's back working. So he never stopped working. He just took off some days. But and as you can see, we got her now. So it's been hard on us, on me rather, having to be here. My husband works 5 days a week. He works 5 days a week, 12 hours a day. And so his off days are Friday and Saturday. And most of those days he has to do something, or we have to run errands to do something. But anyway, yeah, so that's what went down with that. And it's just, y'all, it's a lot. But I mean, everything is better now. I really didn't know how it was gonna continue. I didn't know how it was gonna go on. Yeah, I got in my Bible. I was reading all day, every day. That's the only thing that kept me. What? That's the only thing that kept me sane. And like I said, even we don't, like, anybody I talk to, just especially me and my dad, we don't, like, it's just whenever we talk about it, like, I don't see it. Like, I don't see anything happening like they say it's gonna happen. It's just, I don't know. So we've just been living life and going on and doing this and doing that and continuing on. As y'all can see, he's right here, sitting on the floor, playing. And the radiation did take his hair out in the back, because they were targeting. Ooh. I don't know, I'm gonna have to hold it down because I'm almost done. But anyway, so they were targeting the areas in the back on the sides. And so the area that it was going into it, that's where it messed up. They did tell us his hair would come back, but come out, but it would probably grow back. But I just shaved it off on the back and the sides. And so he has a man bun, which I didn't want to do that anyway, but now I had a reason to. So he still got all that hair on the top. I saved his hair, and I think I'm going to interlock some of it in mine. And maybe use some of his sister's. Not this one, but the other one. Because I'm finna lock her hair up. And little Miss Girl right here say, hey. So, yeah. So, I'm going to do I've already recorded an update video on her, but I don't think I'm going to use it because she was being rude. And I had to hurry up and do that video. But anyway, we will see you guys. She turned 3 months tomorrow, so I'll probably do an update video tomorrow. Or whenever I can record it. Today and tomorrow, it won't make that much of a difference. Ain't like she gonna discover anything new within the next few hours. But I'm gonna go ahead and edit this video and get it out today, so we can get on this road with these videos. I got a new phone, y'all. So to upload better quality videos. Make sure I know how to do it. But yeah, so y'all just keep us in your prayers, and you know, the good people. You know, everybody can't pray for you, but anyway. No, don't mind my mom. It look junky, but it's really not. It's just yeah. Anyway, so I will see you guys in the next video.